8.1b. Let's continue on with some examples. I'm still on page 571. Let's look at example 3, talking about a football field there. What we've got on this one is we have a football field that's 100 yards long. They want to know how many inches that 100 yards is. So we are moving from 100 yards to inches. It helps just to kind of write that up there so you know what direction you're going. Following the initial instructions. Alright, so do we know anything about yards and inches? Well, some folks do, some folks don't. Let's assume we do not, because I want to show you another bit of this. Let's say that we don't know how many inches there are in a yard. But let's say we know something about feet in yards. And feet is smaller than yards, just like inches, so we're going in the right direction. So let's put up what we know about feet in yards. We know that there's 3 feet in 1 yard. Then remember, we cancel these. And we didn't cancel feet. It's still on top and there's nothing to cancel it with. But that's not what we're looking for. And if it's not what we're looking for, we keep going. Another multiplication sign, another line, and again, just like we put yards here, yards down here, we're going to take feet here and put feet down here. Now we're going to look at feet and say, do we know anything, any comparison between feet and inches? Well, yes, we know that there's 1 foot for every 12 inches. Now we have a foot up here and a foot down here, so we're going to cancel those because we're done. We're left with inches. Is that what we're looking for? Sure enough, it is. So that's where we stop. Now, again, let's draw that line there and put a 1 there so we remember that's a fraction. And we multiply our numerators. 100 times 3 times 12. 100 times 3 is 300. 300 times 12 is 3,600. And 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. So we don't have to worry about that. So we have 3,600, and whatever our ending was here that isn't crossed out, that ends up what we put down for an answer, 3,600 inches. Alright, so that's all there is to changing length, especially using the English system. Let's jump over into the metric system. A lot of folks hate the metric system. They just don't get it. At least they say they don't get it. And there's really not that much to it. It's all based on tens. Whereas the English system, you know, you've got 36 inches in a yard, 12 inches, 5,280 feet to a mile, 1,750 yards to a mile. It's just crazy, all the different numbers you have to learn, whereas the metric, it's all in tens. So, you know, 100 centimeters to a meter, 1,000 millimeters to a meter, 1,000 meters to a kilometer. So it's all in numbers and multiples of 10, so it makes it a lot easier. It's just we don't work with it very much. But if you look on page 572, it gives you the conversion units you need. Now what I suggest looking at is just that middle column. The same as on page number 570 when we were doing units in the U.S. system with feet and yards and miles. Only use that middle section there. I would ignore the rest of it because it's just going to confuse you. Let's look at example 4 on page 572. We've got 25, and I'm just going to use abbreviations, millimeters. If you look on the left-hand column of table 4 at top of page 572, it gives you the abbreviations. Convert 25 millimeters to meters. Okay, so what I'm going to do, same thing that I did with the U.S. system. And I'm going to look at this and say, do I know anything about millimeters and meters? Well, if I look at that middle column at the top of page 572 in table 4, do I have any comparisons between millimeters and meters? Well, the very first one says that there are 1,000 millimeters to 1 meter. So there is a comparison there. Well, I cancel this, cancel this. That is what I'm looking for, so I stop, put that over 1, multiply my numerators, my denominators, and I get 25 over 1,000. Now don't leave it this way. Go ahead and divide that out, 25 meters divided by 1,000, or 25 divided by 1,000, and you get 0.025 meters. This is meters because that's what we were looking for. And so just divide it out to make it a decimal, and you get 20.025 for an answer. All right, let's look at the next one. That would be example number 5. We're going to take 36.5 centimeters, and we're going to change that to decimeters. Alright, now we're going to write it just like we said before, 36.5 centimeters times line centimeters. Alright, so let's look at that table there on page 572. See if there's any comparison there between our centimeters and our decimeters. Nothing there. Well, what do we know about our centimeters? Can we go in the right direction? Let's see, we know centimeters and meters. We know decimeters and meters. Let's do, well, there's centimeters there, centimeters and meters. There are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. That's not what we're looking for, so we cancel. Draw our multiplication sign, put another line there, take our meter here, put it down here. Now, do we know anything about meters and decimeters? Third one down, 10 decimeters to 1 meter. We can cancel those. I'm going to put that over 1. We're going to multiply 36.5 times 10 and get, let's see, 36.5 times 10, that's going to give me 365, and that's going to be over 100. So I'm going to divide 365 by 100, and I'm going to get 3.65 decimeters. Okay, so that's it as far as that particular how to do conversions. We're going to do a few applications here. So look at, I'm going to have you look on page number 574, the example they give there. A number of years ago, a ski resort in Vermont advertised a new high-speed chair as the world's fastest. It had a speed of 1,100 feet per second. How many seconds? 1,100 feet per 1 second. So what we're going to have to do is asking if that's possible. Well, I don't really know how fast 1,100 feet per second is, but I do know miles per hour. So if I could change my feet to miles and my seconds to hours, I would have miles per hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at my feet and my second one at a time. So I'm going to do my multiplication, do my line, put my feet down here, and do I know anything about feet in miles? Well, yes, I do. I know 5,280 feet is in 1 mile. I can cancel those. So now I have my miles. So I'm good to go as far as my miles are concerned. Now I've got to change my seconds to hours. Alright, so the next step, I continue on, times, line, but when I had a foot up here, I would put a foot down here. Well, the second is down here, so I'm going to put my seconds up here. Do I know anything about seconds and hours? No, not really, but I do know seconds and minutes. I know there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So that can cancel, and that can cancel. But that's not what I'm looking for. So I have to go one more. Line, line, that's on the bottom. Minutes will go on top. Do I know anything about minutes and hours? Yes, I know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So that cancels and that cancels. So I've got my hours, I've got my miles. So now I multiply 1,100 times 1 times 60 times 60, and I divide all that by 5,280, and I will get miles per hour, and in this case you should get 750 miles per hour. And that's how you know that that speed of the ski resort lift is probably not true. 750 miles an hour is faster than the speed of sound, so that'd be kind of scary. So anyway, that 8.1b, we'll do the problem set in just a minute.